Verstappen, toujours le meilleur temps d'une 58-958.
Alright, well, I was going to start the vlog earlier, but then I forgot, and then now we're already at the train station. Anyways, today we're going to Belgium, back to Belgium. We're going up to see the F1 Grand Prix. Hopefully, it's supposed to rain this weekend. I think that'll be a common theme in this vlog. Is going to be rain. I've been hearing rumors that Belgium is, or not rumors, but I've been hearing that rain at Belgium is pretty common. Sorry, I had to stop. No idea where I was. Anyways, but when we were looking at our tickets this morning, we noticed that it said it was not going to stop in Frankfurt, where our next train was going to start. So we came here a little early, and we got seats on a different train that I got some information from the information people, or the Deutsche Bahn information people, and they say it'll get us there on time. And yeah, anyways, I was watching some Instagram reels, and there were some people saying the Grand Prix of Belgium has been canceled for rain before, and the biggest reason is that someone has died when the rain was bad enough and they let the race go on. So it's a really serious thing at Spa, which is the track we're going to. I hope the rain's not too bad, but we'll see. I mean, worst case is maybe they'll have some of the other races going like on Friday and Saturday. But this is the first Grand Prix I'll be going to. Elizabeth and I will be going to. Anyways, since you can tell it's been a fun morning, let's try to find the train that we need to be on, the seats that we just bought, and head up to Belgium. So rather than exchanging at Frankfurt Main, we're going to exchange at Frankfurt Flughafen, and then this is actually the train that we were originally supposed to be on. So the person who helped me find this, super helpful. This rain is so weird. It's not heavy, but this rain is so weird. It's not heavy, but it's constant, and there's a lot of it. But it's a light. It's weird. But making it to the Airbnb. So, as is what we typically do when we go random places, we went and found a Mexican place. The original restaurant we wanted to go to was closed for like a summer holiday thing. Like they're closed until the middle of August or something. Anyways, that Mexican place had the best guacamole I've had at a restaurant since moving to Europe. So it was pretty good. It was like fancy Chipotle where you can get like a bowl, but we went with getting tacos. I think that's going to be it for today. We have to get up very early. Our bus to the F1 race, or to the first day of F1, leaves at 7:30 a.m. and we've had some trouble with the buses today. So we plan on getting up at like 6, leaving around 6:30, making sure we have plenty of time, because if we miss the bus, there's not really another way to get out to the track. We didn't rent a car, we didn't do any of that stuff, but it should be fine. But yeah, let's fast forward till tomorrow morning. Alrighty, as you can tell, it's quite wet right now. We'll see what happens with the race and with all the qualifying today and the sprint race tomorrow and all this other stuff. It turns out that the bus is like on the opposite side of the track from our seats. So I think the bus leaves an hour after the qualifying ends. So we'll find out if we can get back in time. Look how steep that is. This is flat. This is the climb.
Avec déjà la séance d'essai qualificative en fin de journée aujourd'hui sur le coup de 17h.
Fahrerwertung mit 281 Punkten.
But you can just see Max Verstappen.
All right, well, the first practice is over for F1. It mostly got rained out. Not really rained out, but overall, like I said at the beginning, this has been a very wet race. I'm glad we brought jackets. I just wish we had bought seats with the cover, but you know, that's what you risk by buying the cheaper seats. Still having a good time though, just a little wet.
Sur le coup de 13h45, Dini va pas encore changer en deuxième position avec 100.
Voor zondagochtend de klok van 10 uur problemen onderweg voor wagen 17 van Joshua Mason. De nieuwkomer staat daar in de boarding in de gravel.
Pour l'instant, c'est à côté.
Daar komt de regen zo dadelijk vandaan. Niet kijken. Kijk naar het scherm nu. Position in de sprintwedstrijd.
Les qualifications de la Formule 1.
Alright, well Q1 just ended, but unfortunately because of how close our transportation back is to the end of the race, we have to leave our seats and start walking back. It ends, the transportation about an hour after qualifiers end. It took us about an hour to walk out here without everybody trying to leave all at once. So we're gonna start walking back, but the way that we walk back is gonna be right on the track, like right next to the track. So it should be, we should be able to still see everything, know what's going on, and I always watch the highlights afterwards anyways. First day, as you can see, ends with a very bright and sunny and hot and humid. The rest of the day was wet. We've come up with new strategies that we will use tomorrow and on Sunday. Like, we won't bring some things, we'll bring some extra things, you know. Oh, I was gonna jump in and say, when I bought the tickets, I didn't know where the bus drop-off was, because I bought the bus drop-off after I bought the tickets. So, for future reference, if I ever come back here, I know where the bus drop-off is now. And, you know, that's what happens when you go to an F1 race in the middle of nowhere. You only have a bus that can take you back. Luckily for Saturday and Sunday, they give, I think, 2 hours from the last event to when it will when it will leave. So that should give us plenty of time. So we don't have to leave the Grand Prix, we just have to leave qualifiers. Live and you learn. Let's start the walk back and then go to tomorrow. Based on how long it took us to get to the halfway point of with barely anybody, a few people, but not the whole crowd trying to leave, I'm glad we left early. It's taken us like 30 minutes to barely reach, I don't think this is the halfway point, but we definitely would not have made it and found the bus. Making it to the bus stop is one thing, but I imagine there's going to be a bunch of buses, and I know there's a bunch of cities that the shuttle that I bought from will also go to. So we have to find the right shuttle. And anyways, onward. All right, the qualifiers just ended. It is 6:17. The start was delayed because of the rain. But our bus is supposed to leave at 7. So we definitely, if we'd stayed till the end, we would not have made it. Because we're just now reaching the area where the bus is, and it's been 45 minutes already. And we haven't even found the bus. But we're stopping in place first, but because of a penalty, I think he's going to be 5th or 6th. So that puts Leclerc on first on Sunday for the Grand Prix. Welcome to day 2 and our trip to Spa. Today is the Sprint Shootout day. If you don't know, the Sprint Shootouts is basically, or the sprint race is basically a 100-kilometer race around the track. I think they have a Sprint Shootout event at like noon today for F1 that decides the order for the sprint later today. But that's not all the excitement we're gonna have today. Like a dummy, when I plugged all my stuff in last night, or plugged in my the phone and my watch and a couple other things, I never checked that the plug was all the way in the socket, so they weren't charging. Luckily we have a pretty large battery with us, so I'll be charging that on the way, which is unfortunate because we did use it on the way back. But you know, live and you learn. Make sure everything's plugged in before you go to sleep. But I was able to charge like the phone up to like 40% this morning, and my watch is up to I think also around 40%. And the battery should be able to charge it pretty easily and still have some juice left over. But oh well, yeah. So right now we're on the way to the bus. We left around the same time that we did yesterday, because leaving at this time yesterday made us get to the bus at a pretty good time. We were able to sit somewhere near the front, which was nice. But let's go see Spa day 2. All right, so on the way here, my phone was able to charge up to 92%, and my watch was able to charge up to 82, I think, 83. I didn't plug in my watch until my phone charged up a little bit, but the battery only lost 1 light out of 8, so it's probably around 18% used, so around 82% left, which is really good. So one crisis has been averted. Now it's time to go explore Spa on Sprint Day. We're not really sure if we're going to go directly to our seats or hang out in the fan zone. Probably go to the seats, but not sure. Blue sky. That's something we only saw at the end of yesterday. The fact that we can see some blue sky is, I'm not sure if it's good or bad, but it's something. One thing I didn't mention yesterday was to buy food and drinks at Spa. You first, this may be at other tracks too, I don't know. You first buy like a coin card, like a little card. I think it's 50 euros for 30 coins, or 30 points, or whatever you want to call them. And all the restaurants have point values for the food and the drinks. Like hot dogs, I think, were like 4.7. Beer was, the large cans was 4.2, small cans was 2.4. So I guess that's one way to make sure that people aren't carrying money everywhere. Like all the different places don't have to handle cash. They just convert these to points at central locations and then go from there. We got here at the same time yesterday, and there were maybe like 10 or 15 people total in this area over here. You see there's a huge crowd back there, so you said there's not really a point in staying there, so we're gonna start the walk. I've never had a waffle like this. It is quite good. This is the crowd on this corner 3 hours before the Sprint Shootout. Mainly because of the TVs. So before we got on the bus, we were walking behind this one guy in a yellow shirt. And then when we were on the bus, we saw the same guy. And then just now, we were walking to our spot and we saw the same guy. And so I kind of jogged up a little bit and started, I was like, hey, were you on the bus earlier? And he's like, yeah, that's me. And I was like, okay, cool. And then we started talking and asked where he's from. He's also from Texas. He's from Fort Worth, going to school in Houston, which is like the opposite of me, which is like from Houston, went to school in Dallas. It's kind of a good thing I ran into him because we were on the way to our seats and he was telling me where he was sitting, and I was like, I don't think this is how you get there. And I checked the map and I was like, oh yeah, you had to turn back, you had to turn right back there. And he's like, oh really? And he's like, we both looked at the map, we're like, yep, back there. So it was cool to run into somebody from Texas, but I was also glad to help him make sure he got to the right spot. So I didn't actually catch his name, but we're both from Texas. Taking the garbage bags off.
It's such a unique track. Take to be quick here, do you think? And that compromise that you're constantly looking for on such a long...
Deze sprintwedstrijd.
hier mit der Startnummer 14 und noch
Je me demande si ce n'est pas en revenant sur la piste que Martin...
Ik kan het niet geloven. We zitten Pepe Marti, a former race winner, and as he rejoined, he collected Ido Cohen's car. The first thing he did was go over and apologise because he's also stopped.
24 or beyond.
Formula One is back on track for a hectic 9.
Qui ont eu lieu hier. On a bel et bien 3.
und Österreich beginnt im Juli.
Ouais, on est dans la dernière tentative pour les concurrents. Soit on l'entame, soit on est dans la dernière tentative pour les 15 en piste. Le 27. Oh, il est sorti le Stroll qui sort au speaker. La piste sèche et il se fait piéger au speaker corner. Drapeau rouge évidemment. Il y a 29 secondes, ça veut dire que ça ne repartira pas pour Ricciardo.
Gasly fourth, Leclerc, Piastri, Sainz, Norris.
So that was a pretty cool sprint qualifier. Unfortunately, because of the delay, it also means that the sprint race is also delayed. We should be okay to watch the whole sprint race, assuming it does not get delayed further. But if it gets delayed anymore, we may have to leave early like we did yesterday. But we'll see. Wow, this is a long line for the bathroom, I think. Or food. I'm glad I went right after the race ended.
Keep his seat.
This is what starts happening when a few raindrops come down.
And unfortunately ended up in the barriers, didn't he? Which then actually scuppered his teammate Fernando Alonso's chances. Quick word on Fernando, it's his birthday. So
In het kampioenschap.
Beaucoup de sympathie, hein, bon, rassurez-vous. Mais avec Alessandro Ghiretti, l'Italien, qui lui occupe en Grande-Bretagne, 5e en Hongrie.
world champion, current championship leader Max Verstappen.
Well, shit. I think the hardest rain of the weekend just came down. It's over now. Beautiful blue, clear skies right now. But it delayed the start of the sprint race until 5:35. And the bus driver this morning didn't speak any English. When I was trying to ask him what happens if the race is delayed, he kept just saying 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And last time it took us an hour to get out to find the bus. and that was without any crowds. So just like yesterday, we're gonna start walking back. If you ever do come to Spa after watching this video, I would not recommend the shuttle bus, especially if there's any chance of rain. I would try to find a rental car or maybe, I think there's a bus, but it's really complicated to figure out how to make it work. Overall, it was still a fun day. It just sucks to have to be leaving early. I'm gonna write something in Google Translate and try to show it to the bus driver to ask what happens if the Grand Prix tomorrow is delayed, and to try to get him to stay past 7. But it might just be like they're paid to stay till 7, so they only stay till 7. I'm not really sure. But the way we're gonna go back today is gonna be different than yesterday, and should allow us to see the track more. It's a little longer, but not that much longer, but it's all right. Still a good day. And the only reason that the race is starting at 5:30 is because you have to have 4.5 hours between the end of the shootout and the actual sprint. For the entire, for most of the 4.5 hours, it was completely clear. And then it just starts pouring right before it's supposed to start. And, but the 4.5 hour window makes sense. It's to fix cars and stuff, but it just sucks. But making progress, and it hasn't quite started yet. And this is the section where we can't see anything because of the grandstands. So. I think the safety car just came out. Yeah, it just came out for Alonso. I didn't see what happened though. Happy birthday, Fernando Alonso. We had to leave a little earlier than we had planned to, but again, it's like yesterday. I'm glad we did. We got to the end, and if we had waited for the crowds, we wouldn't have made it by 7. Verstappen won the sprint. I think Piastri was second. I think. I don't remember. Anyways, off to the bus. We'll find out what happens tomorrow. I'm gonna try to ask him what happens if it's delayed. It was cool walking along the general admission area. It took us a while to find the bus because it moved. It's mostly empty at this point. So we'll see if everyone makes it.